So we're going to start off by coming into child's pose. I'll just keep an eye on the screen in case anyone else joins us. So bring your knees together or bring them apart, whatever you want right now. And just bring the hands, let's bring them in front of us for the moment. So just breathe in, breathe out. And I want you to sigh out the first few exhales, just releasing that tension, just bringing yourself into the practice. Just slowly start bringing your awareness to the body. Just notice how it's feeling today. Just being aware of any aches or any pains that you may be experiencing. And we're going to breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. And breathe out for 1, 2, 3, 4. And just keep going. Taking it up to 5 or 6 if you want. Just notice the ribs expand as we breathe in. See if you can bring your awareness to the back of the ribs as well. So really breathing into the back of the body, breathing into the space of the spine, the sacrum. And on the next inhale, just lift the arms up and come onto the fingertips. So just notice how that feels in the shoulders, in the arms, in the hands. And bring your awareness to each fingertip and thumb pressing into the mat. Let's take a nice deep inhale all the way in and exhale to release. And on the next inhale, let's turn the palms up to face the sky. So we're going to externally rotate the shoulders. So you're drawing the shoulders away from the spine. Just notice that sensation. Just being aware of any tightness in the shoulders. Let's take one more inhale. As you exhale, just bring the hands back down towards the mat. And as you inhale, you're going to slowly walk the hands over towards the right side of the mat. See if you can draw that left buttock towards the feet. So we're maximizing that stretch in the left side body. So breathe all the way in, all the way out. And when you're ready, in your own time, slowly walk the arms and the hands back to center. So just take a few moments here to notice any differences in the body. Just being aware of what's happening with your stretching. And let's slowly walk over to the other side. So we're breathing into the right side body. Just accepting any differences on this side. When you're ready, Slowly walking the arms back to center. Just taking a couple of breaths here. Just breathing all the way into the back of the body as well. When you're ready, we're going to inhale as we slowly come up. So use the hands to support you. Take your time because we've been here for a few moments. And we're going to draw the knees in together if they're not already there. And you can come onto the balls of the feet, onto the toes if you want to work into the feet. So whatever's comfortable for you. And we're going to inhale as we bring the arms up, take the gaze up, nice and long. Exhale to release. Let's inhale to rise. Exhale to release. Let's take a couple more. Your own breath. I'm going to take a few shoulder rolls in both directions. So really notice the shoulder blades lifting up, riding them. Take your time. Now we're slowly going to bring the hands forward at the front of the mat. And we're going to bring the knees in towards the chest. So we're coming onto the other side of the toes here. So it's a nice little counter pose. It might be quite strong, so you can always come out of it at any time. For 3, for 2, for 1. And let's bring the knees back. And we're going to just bend into the back slightly. So we'll lift up the hips so they're just in line with the knees. And we're going to take the hands behind and just take hold of the fists and shoot the hands towards the mat. As we draw the shoulder blades in, take the gaze up. So a nice little heart open here. And let's just breathe in here for 3, for 2, for 1. And release. And slowly bring the arms all the way up. And release. Just take a few more shoulder rolls. And we're going to meet in our tabletop position. So hands spread out nice and wide. And we can tuck the toes under. I'm going to start with our cat-cow breath. So as you inhale, tilt the pelvis away from the belly. Draw the belly towards the mat. Shoulders retracting towards each other. Gaze comes up. So work through this nice and slow. Reverse the motion as we breathe out. Be mindful of your own body. So again, just being aware of those natural hinge points. If you feel like you pinch the base of the spine, maybe take a hand there just to gently open it up a little bit more. It might make a difference. And let's try a few coming onto the fingertips. Just exploring different sensations, different movements. Oh, I think someone else is coming in. But just do a couple more, nice and slow, and bring yourself back into your neutral spine. And we're going to inhale as we take that right arm out parallel with the mat. So reaching forward, option to lift that left leg up. Try to line up the hips and start engaging the core here, nice and strong. Press that back foot away. You can go a little bit different if you want to bend that left knee and take hold of the left foot in the right hand and inhale as you press and lift. And take the gaze wherever it's comfortable. And let's breathe in here for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. And slowly bring the hand and the knee back down. And let's move straight over to the left side. So left arm comes out nice and long. And the option to lift that right leg. Press that foot away from the body. Try to line up the hips. Option to bend the right knee. Take the right foot in the left hand. Just take the gaze wherever it's comfortable. For 3, for 2, for 1, and release. And slowly bring it back down. And we're just going to come into child's pose for a couple of, maybe about 3 breaths, because we're going to work into plank pose after this. So we're going to, before you come into plank pose, I just want to tell you what we're going to do. It's just a different exercise. We're going to open up the hips as well. So I'm just going to show you. So you're going to come into your plank pose and just check your alignment. And again, do these poses with honesty, listen to your body. And you can stay here if you want for the duration, or you can bend the knee. And I want you to take circles, 10 circles outwards. Try to keep that core engaged, and 10 circles inwards. You can make these circles as big or as small as you want. And then we're going to drop that foot back, and then we're going to lift that leg and hold it for 10 seconds. So that's just an idea of what we've got to come. So let's just take a couple more breaths. When you're ready, let's meet in plank. So you've got your options. You can bring that knee in and take your circles 10 one way, 10 another way. And then bring that foot back and then lift that leg up for 10 seconds. You can always come into child's pose in between. Moving on to the other side. So just take your time with this, don't rush it. It's quite strong. I'm just going to drop back into child's pose for a few breaths. Ooh, that is quite strong. So I want you to take 5 more breaths in child's pose, and we're going to meet in forearm plank. No, actually, we're going to meet in plank, sorry. Right, so let's bring ourselves into our plank pose, and we're going to work into the triceps a little bit more. So just to give you an idea of what we're going to do, so I'll just show you first. We're going to bend the elbows, bring the chest forward, work into the triceps and lift. So remember, you're not taking the elbows back. You're kind of keeping the elbows where they are, but you're just bending to work the triceps. So we're going to take 5, and then we're going to come into child's pose. So remember just to check your hips as well. You can drop the knees for this. And just come into child's pose. And let's stay in child's pose for about 5 breaths. You can bring the arms behind you if you want to rest the triceps a little bit and the wrists. And just bring yourself up And we're going to stay with the triceps for a little bit longer. So what we're going to do next is we're going to come into dolphin dog. So remember, dolphin dog is basically downward dog on the forearms. So it is working into that tricep area. It's quite strong in the shoulders as well. And it's quite a good practice to strengthen the triceps. But it's also good if you're working towards inversions. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and vary it a little bit. So bring yourself into your all fours position just for the moment. And then we're going to slowly bring the forearms to the mat. Take hold of the opposite elbows just to check you're roughly shoulder distance apart. And really press the finger pads and these bits of the hand into the mat. So you're getting a nice strong grip. We're going to tuck the toes under and we're going to lift the hips up, coming into our dolphin dog. You might decide you want to stay here for a few breaths. If you want to go a little bit deeper, and again, remember to breathe into the back. So we're keeping this quite strong and stable pose. You can go deeper and lift the right leg in the air. Try to keep the hips in line, so we're not opening up the hip for this one. And just breathe in for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. And let's just go straight to the other side if you want to. So breathe in, keep it nice and strong. Just take the gaze ahead of us, just a little bit ahead of the hands. Try to keep that lift for 3, for 2, for 1, and release. And slowly drop the knees, come back into child's pose for a few breaths. You can bring the arms behind you if you want to rest the upper arms. And when you're ready, let's take a couple more breaths here. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. So take your time to bring yourself up. And we're going to just do a little bit more on the triceps. And we're going to drop the elbows and hover and lift. So let's take 5 of these. And lift. And just stay in your downward facing dog. And we're going to inhale, we lift the heels up. Exhale to lower. 2 more times with your own breath. And remember to breathe into the back of the body here as well. So we're not just sinking the chest towards the floor. Let's take 3 lion's breaths here. Okay, 1 more inhale. Exhale, gaze between the hands. Slowly walk the feet towards the hands. And come into your ragdoll. So just swing it out, shake it out. Use it as a chance to rest those triceps. We're going to add a little bit of the elbow hovers when we do our sun salutations. Just working at strengthening those muscles. Let's just breathe in, breathe out. Let's find your stillness. Take hold of whatever's available, the toes, the shins, the thighs. It's entirely up to you. And we're going to inhale as we lift the chest, straighten the arms. Exhale to release. Just flow through the own breath. Bend the knees if you need. And when you're ready, let's slowly come all the way up. So remember to lead with the chest. Keep that bend in the knees to support your back and your hamstring. Come all the way up. And you can come onto the tiptoes. Take the hands all the way up to the sky. And let's hold it here for 3, 2, 1. And release. And slowly come back. And just take a few shoulder rolls here in both directions. I want you to inhale as we shoot the arms up. Take hold of the right wrist with the left hand. And let's Breathe into a stretch towards the left side. You try to keep the hips straight. So we're really working into the lats here as well. And let's inhale as we come up. Switch it and take it over to the right. Inhale, shoot the fingers up towards the sky. And exhale to it. So we're going to make our way into Tadasana, mountain pose. So come to your version, feet together or apart. Lift the toes up, spread them out as you bring them back to the mat. And we're just going to close down the eyes for a few moments. Shoulders away from the ears. Nice and tall. You can start engaging that ujjayi breath, restriction at the back of the throat if you want. Feel that energy through the fingers. Feel that energy pulling up from the crown of the head. Let's take a nice deep inhale. Exhale. Just gently open the eyes. We're going to inhale to rise. Exhale as we fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, let's step it back into plank pose. So let's just hold it here for a nice deep inhale. And exhale, we lower down through chaturanga. So remember, you can drop the knees first. Press the tops of the feet into the mat as we come into our upward facing dog. We're going to exhale as we come into downward facing. And I want you to take 5 of the elbow hovers here if you want to. So just take your time. Keep that pose nice and strong. So don't lose the stability. You can hold it. It's your choice. Take one more inhale. And when you've done it, we're going to exhale. We gaze between the hands. And we're going to step or walk feet to hands. We're going to inhale. Lift up halfway. So just check your alignment here for a moment. Just check that you're not unnaturally slumping. Check that you're supporting the spine. So bring the hands in a safe place. And we're going to exhale to fold. We're going to inhale to rise one more time. And exhale to fold. Just hold it here for a couple of breaths. Remember to bend the knees here if it's hard on the hamstrings and the back. We're going to inhale to rise. Reach the arms all the way up. Exhale to. Let's just take a few breaths here. We're going to run through a little bit of a different sequence today, so just bear with me on this. And don't worry if you get bits wrong. Just take a couple more breaths here in Tadasana. We're going to inhale to rise. Exhale, let's fold it forward. Inhale as we lift up halfway. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, we step it back into plank pose. And let's just hold it for an extra breath. And we're going to exhale, we bend those elbows, bring the chest forward. And we're going to inhale, to open the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can stay here for a few breaths. You can add the elbow drops for a few breaths. It's entirely up to you. Let's all meet back in downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, we lift that right leg in the air. And we're going to try and keep that pelvis neutral. So we're not opening out the right hip like so. Nice and strong. We're going to bend the right knee and straighten. We're going to bend and straighten. We're going to bend it one more time and straighten. And as you exhale, we're going to bend the right knee, bring the right foot between the hands. Let's drop that left knee for the moment. Take the right hand around that left shoulder, stabilize it as we come into our twist over to the right. You can bring the hand up, or you can bring it behind the head. You can lift that back knee. It's your choice. Remember to keep that left shoulder nice and stable, so we're not sinking into it like this. Strong. I'm going to take one more inhale. We're going to exhale to release. Slowly bring that right hand to the mat. I'm going to frame that front foot, and we're going to inhale. You lift up to our low lunge. You can lift that back knee. It's up to you. Keep that space in the spine. And just hold it here for a couple of breaths. I'm going to exhale to release. Frame that front foot. And we're going to press the hands into the mat as we inhale and shoot that right leg back into three-legged dog. Just hold it here. So really feel the triceps working here as well. I'm going to take one more inhale. And as you exhale, bend the right knee, bring it forward. And this time I'm going to come into pigeon pose. So start bringing that right foot towards that left hand and just drop that knee down. So keep that right foot active, so we're protecting the knee. And remember, if you feel the right hip isn't quite on the mat and there's a gap, please do support yourself with the hands, or you can bring a cushion or a blanket under that hip. And you can bring yourself down all the way. It's entirely up to you. You want to try and avoid rolling into that right hip. So trying to keep a neutral pelvis. And as you inhale, we're going to slowly come up. So use the hands to support you. And what we're going to do now, just something a little bit different. We're going to keep that right knee bent. And we're going to slowly and safely bring the bum to the mat. And we're going to start pressing that right foot on the inside of that left thigh. You should end up like this. And just bring your attention to your body is kind of facing over that left leg. Start activating that left foot. Keep a little micro bend here if you need to. Bring the hands on either side of that left leg. And we're going to inhale as we lift and lengthen. And we're going to exhale as we hinge forward from the hips. So remember to keep that neutral spine. It's not about grabbing the foot or bringing the head down necessarily. So do these poses to your own body. But inhale, feel that lift. Exhale as we hinge forward. Use that breath to give you that space. Remember to breathe into the back as well. And we're going to slowly come up on the next inhale. Just take your time. Just breathe in. And we're going to slowly bring the left hand to the outside of that right leg. Bring the right hand behind you. We're going to come into a twist over to the right. So again, lift and lengthen through the upper body. Try not to lean back. Keep a nice neutral spine. Inhale to lift. Exhale to twist. One more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly release and just take a little counter twist the other way. And we need to come back to center, gently straighten that right leg out. We're going to bring the hands behind us, fingers pointing towards the feet. And we're going to point the toes. And we're going to inhale as we lift the butt, coming up into our reverse plank. You can take the head back if that's comfortable. Try and get that lift, try and work into the triceps. For 3, for 2, for 1, and release. Slowly come back. And we're going to bring ourselves all the way back to the front of the mat. And we're going to come back into our 3-legged dog. So that right leg in the air. And you've got the option of bending the right knee and stacking the hips and coming into wild thing. You can do this, or you can come into dog or child's pose. It's entirely up to you. Try to keep this lift nice and strong. And we're going to come back into our 3-legged dog and release. Just take a couple more breaths in downward facing dog. And on the next exhale, take the gaze between the hands, and we're slowly going to walk or step to the front of the mat. We're going to inhale, we lift and lengthen. Exhale to fold. And we're going to inhale, we lift up halfway one more time. Exhale to fold. Inhale to rise. Take it all the way up through Hastasana. Exhale to release. And just take a few moments here. Take a few shoulder rocks. So we're going to go through it on the other side so you have an idea of what to expect. Just take a couple more breaths here. You're going to inhale to rise. Exhale, hold it forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, let's step it back to plank. We're going to hold it here for a little bit longer, nice and strong. Just take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, let's bend those elbows. Bring the chest forward. Inhale as we open the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Remember, you can stay here or you can drop the elbows and hover. And lift. So let's just take 5 of those if that's what you want to do. Try to keep that pose nice and stable, nice and strong, and lift. And we're going to inhale as we bring that left leg in the air. Just try to keep the hips in line. And we're going to bend the knee and straighten. Bend the knee and straighten. And as you exhale, we're going to bend the knee and bring that left foot between the hands. We're going to drop that right knee. And we're going to take our twist over the other side. So take the left hand and stabilize that right shoulder. But just be careful here. And then we're going to twist over to the left. You can take that left arm up, or you can take it around the back of the head. But just keep an eye on that right shoulder. Make sure you're not sinking into it and it's nice and stable. You can lift off that back knee. It's your choice. Breathe with it. Let's take one more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly bring that left hand to the mat. I'm going to drop that right knee if it's lifted. And we're going to inhale as we come up for our low lunge. Hold it here, nice and strong. You can lift that right knee, it's entirely up to you. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, we're going to slowly drop the knee, frame that front foot. And we're going to shoot that left leg back into our 3-legged dog. So again, try to keep a nice stable pelvis. And we're going to exhale as we bend the knee and we're going to come into pigeon pose on the other side. So bring the left foot towards the right hand and come into pigeon pose. And remember, if this is lifting too much, use the hands to support you. There's a danger of sinking into it, so that can cause damage. Or you can bring a cushion or a blanket. Try to keep that left foot flexed and nice and strong. Just take a couple more breaths out. When you're ready, just bring yourself up. Press the hands into the mat. Just slightly bend the elbows as we shoot that left leg back into our three-legged dog. Remember your options. You can come back into dog, or you can stack the hips, or you can come into wild. And remember, when you come into wild, then try to keep the hips nice and high and open the heart. And we're just going to meet back in downward facing dog when you're ready. We're going to take 3 lion's breaths here. If you want, you can take 5 more dips coming into your hover, working into the triceps. We're almost there. Take 1 more inhale. And as you exhale, gaze between the hands. And we're going to walk or step feet to hands. We're going to inhale, we lift up halfway. Exhale to fold. And let's just stay here for a couple of breaths. And we're going to inhale, we come all the way up through Hastasana, nice and long. And exhale to release. And just take a few shoulder rolls in. We're going to do a standing sequence, and then we're going to slowly come into Shavasana. I know we started a couple of minutes late, so I think we've got about seven minutes or so left to go. So we're going to do a quick exercise that some of you have done before, just to help when you're in your standing poses. Because when you're in standing poses, you want to try and keep the pelvis nice and stable and neutral. And you don't really want to be sinking into that standing leg, because that's going to cause damage in the long term around this area. So what we want to work on is stabilizing the hip, working into the gluteus medius muscle. So that muscle that goes along the middle of the backside, essentially. So we're going to just do a really quick exercise that we've done before. So let's presume the right leg is going to be the standing leg. So just start whichever side you want. Bring the hand to the outside of that right hip and bring the other hand towards the top of that femoral head. So when you've got the femur, you've got that point there. Because we want to try and keep that nice and stable. So bring the hand there. And what we're going to do is we're going to just soften that right knee. And we're going to bend forward slightly. I'm going to take that right leg and I'm going to take it out to the left. And really work on engaging that gluteus medius, engaging the hip and the femoral head as well. So if you feel it coming out, work it back in. Nice. And then we're going to start bending that right knee more. I bring that left foot back. We're going to come into warrior 3. And again, just monitor that hip. Just get that lift. And if you want to release the arms, you can release the arms. It's entirely up to you. And then when you're ready, let's come all the way back up. And we're going to do it on the other side. So I'm just going to come to the top of the mat. So press that standing foot into the mat. Take hold of the hip. Bring the other hand onto that femoral head. And we're going to soften that standing knee. Lean forward slightly. And we're going to bring that right leg out. You really want to start engaging these muscles and really feel that. And then when you're ready, we're just going to soften that left knee and we're going to come back into our warrior 3. And slowly come back to center. And just shake it out. Come back to standing. Got about 5 minutes to go. We're just going to run through the standing sequence. So we're going to come into our standing position. So feel that nice stability in the pelvis. You can bring the hands to the waist to begin with if that helps. We're going to lift that right knee and bring it towards the chest. Take the right hand on that right knee and we're just going to bring it out to the right. Bring it back to center. Switch hands, left hand, and just take a nice little twist, bringing that right knee over towards the left side. Come back to center, bring the hands to prayer and pivot forward into your warrior 3. Just bear in mind that little exercise we've done. See if it makes a difference. And when you're ready, come all the way back up. See if you can bring that knee into the chest. Shoot the fingers up towards the sky. And release. And shake it out. We're going to do it on the other side. So just shake it out. And let's start again. Bring the hands towards the hips, stabilize the pelvis, lift that left knee into the chest. Take the left hand and bring that left knee up to the right. Bring it back through center, switch hands, nice little twist, take that left hand out wide. You can take the gaze wherever it's comfortable. Bring it back, take the hands to prayer, and let's bring ourselves back into warrior 3. And again, try to work on that standing hip, not jutting out. And this time, I want you to bend the right knee and just drop that left foot back onto the mat. Let's frame the front foot. And let's come back into just a 3-legged plank. And slowly work through your chaturanga. Come into your downward facing dog. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, take the gaze between the hands. And I want you to step or jump through to seated. And slowly bring the bum to the mat. And just safely bring yourself all the way down into your final Shavasana. And we'll be here for about a minute or so. Just let yourself surrender into the mat for a few moments. And we're going to start deepening the breath. And just slowly start to wriggle the fingers and the toes. And let's start rotating the ankles and the wrists in both directions. Just bringing a bit of life back into the body. And let's have a nice big stretch. And slowly draw the knees into the chest. And just give yourself a hug. And a nice little rock from side to side. And we're going to just roll out and come straight up into our cross-legged position. So just come in a safe way. Keep the eyes closed and the face soft. You can bring yourself into half lotus if that's available. You can have a little try if you want to, or you can try full lotus. I'm going to bring the hands to heart center. And we're going to take our 3 clearing breaths. Slowly bring the thumbs up to the third eye. Just being proud of your achievements, being proud of your progress. And I want to thank you for joining me for today's practice. The inner light in me will always honor the inner light in you. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Oh, lotus is quite strong. That's great. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks, Shabnam.
Take care. See you tomorrow. There'll be another class tomorrow, and I'll do a bit of yin with that one.
Thank you. Cheers, Shabnam.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.